Hey Brit+Con fam, welcome back. So today I am going to be sharing stage 3 in the deployment cycle, and the title for this cycle is Post-Deployment and Emotional Disorganization. And so I'm just going to be sharing a little bit about my experience and like how I've gotten through it. My husband has been gone for 2 weeks now, and so I've just kind of like settled in and everything, and so I wanted to give y'all an idea of how I'm doing and how I did do and everything like that. Also, I'm going to be showing my hands a lot because I just got my nails done. Ooh, 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 ooh. They look good, right? So anyways, yeah, let's get started. So when my husband left, as you all know, I was a wreck. Like, when I said goodbye to him, it was like the hardest thing I had ever had to do, and I was just like crying and sobbing, and like I couldn't stop, and I was just like what the heck. And it wasn't like, it's so hard because when you try to explain those feelings, it's just like you're just sad. There's no explanation as to why you're sad. It's just like they're leaving you, and you bonded with them and you love them, and it's like now they're going to be gone forever, and so you're a complete mess. And so that happened the first day. Well, then the second day, my mom had booked me a plane ticket to go back to Texas because it was my sister's graduation. And something that I recommend you all do, that a friend of mine always tells me to do whenever my husband leaves, is to take a couple days to just grieve. Like, just be sad. You can have 2 days, you can have 3 days, but just like don't do anything, just grieve. Because I got on the plane the next day without having that time to grieve, and I was sitting in the airport in my chair, like about to, board the plane and everything, and I just like had that, like I'm about to sob in my throat. You know what I mean? That feeling. And I just like couldn't hold it in, and I tried to eat like Cheez-Its that I had, because I was like, maybe if I eat, I won't be sad. And so I tried to eat, and I couldn't hold it in. And so I went to the bathroom, and I just cried and cried and cried, and like it was one of those like cries, and I didn't want people to hear me, so I was like, like really softly, and it was so sad. And I was texting my mom, and she was like, it's gonna be okay, and I was just like, no, it's not. I'm just gonna be sad forever, blah blah blah. Like, I was just so sad. And it was funny because my mom was giving me the advice that I always give you guys. She was like, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to cry, but don't stay there. Don't stay in that sad place where you think you're going to be like sad forever or depressed forever. Don't stay there. And so, but in the moment, I was like, but he's going to be gone forever, and like being dramatic. And so I like just got all of my tears out, and I like grieved. I really, really grieved in the airport, which wasn't a good place. I probably should have been home. And so I encourage you guys to not go anywhere for like 2 or 3 days. But I just like cried and I cried, and it was really cool because I got on the airplane, and the woman who sat next to me, so like this was all just God, she sat next to me, and we started talking, and her grandson just left on a ship that was going out with my husband's ship. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so we started talking, and it just made me happy because I got to talk to someone who kind of understood the same thing that I did. And so it helped me along. And so since then, I haven't cried like that. Of course, you're going to have your triggers. The other day, my husband had written me a song for our proposal. And so like the other day, just the song just popped into my head randomly. It never pops into my head, but of course it popped into my head. And I just got like teary-eyed, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna cry. And like luckily I didn't cry, but it's just like those little triggers that make you want to cry. So to just like wrap that part up, the post-deployment, just know that it's okay to cry. Sometimes I come from a background of where my mom was just like super strong my entire life, and so I thought that crying made you look weak. And so what I've like been learning to do, and what God has like grown me in, is it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to get those emotions out, because Jesus cried, and we want to be like Jesus, so why not cry? And so it's okay to cry. You don't look weak, but don't stay there. Do not stay in this depressed, sad mode, because there's nothing you can do. You can't bring them back. And if you stay sad, it's only going to ruin your time here, or wherever you are. It's only going to ruin that time. and you want to get out, you want to explore things, you want to learn who you are without, each other. Me and Connor became one. Now I'm figuring out who is Brittani again, so it's interesting learning about me. And so it's okay to cry, but don't stay there. Another thing that happens, which is in the title, like I said, is emotional disorganization. And at first I thought I didn't have this. Like, I was like, I'm totally good. I don't even that doesn't even apply to me, whatever. Because we have a dog, which I take care of most of the time. Our bills are on auto pay. I clean and do all this stuff around the house anyways. And so it was like, I'm not going to have emotional disorganization. And if you do have a child, this is something that you may struggle with because the husband doesn't come home and then takes over the kids, or you get your little break. So this may happen to you if you do have children. So just be prepared for this. But something that happened to me this past week in the emotional disorganization is I made a huge list of goals, like work out, be healthy, journal, read books, go out, declutter the home, clean the home, learn something new, all of these goals that I am going to learn while my husband is gone. I made a huge list. And my problem is that I want to get all these goals done right now, instantly right now. And it was making me crazy because I was like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And I didn't have enough time in the day. And so I got so overwhelmed with having to clean the house and then taking care of Samuel and then feeding myself. I was not feeding myself, and I wasn't working out. And so I was just freaking out in my head because I was getting so crazy and I was getting so disorganized and the house was getting a mess and just everything was just blowing up. And then I would go hang out with friends and not clean. And so then I would freak out because I just put off another day of not cleaning. And it was just it was too much. It was too much for my brain. And so if this has happened to you, or if it might happen to you, if you're a goal setter and you like to meet goals, this could possibly happen to you whenever deployment comes. And if you follow me on Instagram, I posted something that had to do with this week. And basically, a few days ago, God just told me to just sit down and read a book and just rest. And in the post, I'm basically saying that when we have a lot of stuff to do, when we have a lot of goals, we think we need to rush to finish all of these goals or things that we need to do. And once we finish those, then we can rest. Then we'll be fine. Then we'll be okay, now I'm good. But that's not what God says. God says, even in the midst of all of these things that you need to do, even in the midst of disorganization, just rest. Just take a second, breathe, be in my presence, love me, and be at peace. And so he told me to do that. He told me to read a book, and I was like, I have so many things to do, God. You want me to just read a book? And so I did that, and it was amazing how right God always is. Because after I did that, I was so rejuvenated, I was so refreshed, that now I could go home and clean. Now I could go home and wash the dishes. And I wasn't on edge and needed to do everything with my 8 arms that I thought I had, So if you're in that emotional disorganization stage, or, if your husband's gone or boyfriend's gone and you feel like you're getting into that stage, just remember to take a breath. Just have that peace. Just take a walk. Rejuvenate yourself. Go get your nails done if you want to, and just help yourself just kind of be refreshed weekly if you have to. Because I know I'm going to do that weekly, if not daily, to help myself not be a crazy person. Another thing is sleeplessness. And sleeplessness I didn't really deal with, but I wanted to give y'all a little tip of what I do to help me sleep. So usually I sleep on this side, so my bed's over here, and I sleep by the wall, and my husband sleeps closer to the door. But if I slept in my spot, I would feel like there's all this room on the bed that's empty, and this whole room is just empty. So what I do is I actually sleep on his side of the bed, so that when I look towards my way, it's just a wall, and then when I look out, there's no more bed, and it's just a room. And so it helps me because The room doesn't feel as big, and I don't feel like something is missing, which I already know mentally something is missing, but I'm helping my brain out by like making the room feel smaller. So if your bed's like mine to a wall, then that may help you. That helps me, so I just want to let you guys know. And then loneliness is something that's kind of inevitable. You're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna feel like, you don't have anyone when you come home, and you can go out and hang with friends, but when you get home, you're lonely again. And so just know that that's a natural feeling. I get lonely, and it's sad because whenever it reaches that like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, at the beginning, I used to expect my husband to come home, and now I just kind of let the days go. I kind of just let my busyness go. I go to the store. I go to volunteer, and I just got a job, and so I'm not going to be going to my job. And so that'll help a lot, but definitely get out. Don't let your whole day be at home. Even if you go to the park and walk around, just seeing those other people in society makes me feel not as alone. Because if I stayed here at home, I wouldn't have any human interaction, and that's what gets me. I have to have human interaction. And if you're like me, you have to get out. You have to do things to not feel so alone. So I encourage you guys to do that. That's basically it for this subject. Just know in all these subjects that all these stages that I'm going to be talking about, you don't have to identify with them. Like, emotional disorganization. I am not going to be emotionally disorganized. I am going to sit down, have peace, and think, okay, what do I need to do today? And so helping yourself and acknowledging what stage you're in, and saying, okay, I'm in this stage, how do I get out of it, is so, so important. So make sure you do that for each of these stages, and even look up some stages if you want to see if there's more. But just know that you don't have to stay there. You don't have to identify with these stages. So that's it for my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope they helped you a little bit. I've been getting some great feedback from you guys, and some additional video requests that I will be doing. I'm going to start making videos every Monday and Friday. That is my set schedule for now, so be on the lookout every Monday and Friday. Also, my P.O Box is in the bottom, so if you want to send me any thank you letters or cards or anything, you definitely can. And third, you know how I made that shirt for you guys? I'm actually launching a t-shirt collection type thing on my husband's website, and that's going to be up in the next few days, and I'll post that on Instagram when I launch it, and so be sure to follow my Instagram. I'm so excited to show you guys my new t-shirts, and I'm going to be posting some new ones every so often, like every month or so, specifically for military, but then also some other like Jesus ones and everything. So get excited about that. I'm excited. But anyways, that's the end of my video, and I will see you guys on Friday.